this is a great example of like, dude, you go and just contract this home under these green dots. You don't have to think about it because you know people are buying cash. Everybody, what up? Science Flipping family, as you see here, I am having a training with arguably the largest wholesaler in the nation. And the COO of that company, Mr. Brandon Sepulveda of Want to Sell Now, is on the line, literally likely the largest, doing 30, 40, 50 deals a month at least, is on this training with me, man. Appreciate you being on this training, bro.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on. So, yeah, guys, we're probably doing around 20, 30 deals a month right now. Typically we have properties in about 15 states at any given time. So we don't really have any state that we do the most deals in. I mean, we have states where we get the most leads, but we don't really do any major targeting anymore in any one city. So where people got, 50% of their marketing going in one city, we're not doing that anymore. Wherever the leads come from is where we're going to work. So after years of screwing up on deals and underwriting wrong and dropping them because we thought it was a deal and it wasn't, we've gotten pretty good at underwriting deals nationwide and selling deals all over the country. Yep.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, literally, I have deals constantly that I'm sending you guys that I'm locking up, across the nation. I think I just sent you one yesterday in Tennessee, Cookeville, Tennessee. And actually, one of the reasons why I really was excited that you carved out a little bit of time here is people are constantly asking me how to comp properties, how to look at ARV, how are you estimating rehab, where are you comping? I did a training on propstream because I believe propstream is the best tool if you don't have MLS, period. And so you and I were chatting. You also use propstream. So I wanted to go in on how you guys use it. Again, you are likely one of the largest, if not the largest wholesalers in the nation across the country, not just in a city. And so I thought it'd be a good kind of part two of that to say, here's how the largest, wholesaler in the nation is getting it done. Here's how they're comping, because you and I have talked a lot. It's not the same. Like when you take a Phoenix property versus a, Cookeville, Tennessee property versus a Delaware property, you're not necessarily comping them the same, right? And so
definitely not.
No. Maybe speak to that a little bit, but then I'd love for you to be able to share your screen and like show the people how you guys are comping these properties.
Sure. So yeah, we don't comp properties the same all across the country, right? All markets are different. The 60, 70, 80, 50% rule works sometimes it doesn't. All right. There's a lot of things that you have to pick up on when looking in an area to know if it's a deal, or maybe there's a chance, or maybe these few things are going to kill the deal. So the tools we use are propstream and Zillow are going to be the biggest two. And then I'll go over those two right now. So here's the first address he sent me.
Yeah, that's my deal. Got it.
So I always have it up on Zillow anyways, but to go into propstream, right? First thing I'm always going to do, if you guys aren't already doing this, confirm the bed bath count, the square footage. Propstream can be wrong, Zillow can be wrong, tax records can be wrong, everything can be wrong. So confirm that. Typically with the seller. If we don't have that confirmed here in our office, normally I'm going to put it on pause to underwrite the deal, just because I can give you a number and it may be wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So do the search, the details, everything we're going to be in is going to be in comparables right here. So we'll go into comparables. This property already had photos, right? So typically I'll skim through the photos. You want to know what type of house we're dealing with. It's a 2005 build, 2,070 square feet, right? And I think Justin sent me an email confirming everything if the specs were different. But we'll just go ahead and say this is accurate in the first place. So I'm not going to double check right now just because of time. But what I do is go through the photos, right? Brick house, there's 120 photos. I usually don't take a lot of time. I just want a good idea of the condition. It's probably original, 2005, right? You can see the countertops are older. Cabinets are decent. Recessed lighting, vaulted ceilings. This is a really, really nice house. It just needs a little bit of updates. So this is going to be super easy for somebody to deal with. The other thing, you want to pay attention to layout and the front of the house. This is extremely important right here. So a lot of times we'll get a comp that's 2150 square feet. It's a 3, 2.5. It's around the same year. And if this house is vinyl and it looks way different, you have a different product. So whenever you're comping properties and your property looks way different, or you have a way different curb appeal, you need to take that into consideration, because whoever the flipper is selling this property to, they're going to want the property that has the better curb appeal. It's just going to sell easier and it's going to sell for more. So keep that in mind when you have an uglier house to say, and you're trying to make it, same ARV as a nicer house on the outside.
That's right.
Right. So I know what this house looks like. I know what the layout is, and then I'll go into the properties to see what I'm comparing against. Now, I always go back myself, right? I know we're taught to do 12 months, 6 months. A lot of times in areas like Cookeville, Tennessee, you don't have a ton of sales. There's a 30,000 population there. Not a lot going on, probably with this price point of house and people looking for these houses. I can imagine they're probably more like $100,000 and $120,000 price range in Cookeville. Right. So go back a little further.
That's a really good point. A lot of people are taught, 6 months, year max. But when you are in a little bit more rural area, you're not in downtown Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
You might not have as many comps, right? So that's a really good point to bring up here.
Exactly. So if you don't have comps, you have to go back. The other thing is, if you're not in a majorly appreciating market, what's going to change 2 years back, right? In Phoenix, 6 months ago, it could change. 3 months,
100%.
it could change. Austin, Texas could change. But when you're in markets, Chicago or Cookeville, Tennessee, it's not changing a ton. So you're fine to go back and use older comps, right? So other thing, all right, a lot of people like to do a radius. They want to do a 1/4 mile radius, a 1/2 mile radius. I stick in the neighborhood. The only way I will go out of a neighborhood is if there's absolutely no comps on any site. Other than that, I'm sticking in. I may check some other things, but I try my best to never use comparables outside of the neighborhood. So we got 3, and we only got 3, right? So PropStream, you guys, if you're using PropStream, you know that there's this photo icon on a lot of the properties, right? Not only do I stick in the neighborhood, I like to start off with the closest properties and then go down the street, right? Your neighbors are going to be your best comparables. So we got 1 and 2, both neighbors. So this is great, right? Our estimate, you can see, which I don't go off estimates, is 260, and it's pulling directly from 1 and 2, right?
And I'll ask you right now, do you prefer, there's 2 things, the MLS comps versus the public comps. Do you prefer one versus the other?
No, I look at them all. I will try to fact check them and make sure that they're all, correct sold prices.
Sure.
But, I really don't care.
Well, you know what I'm talking about, that if you just click off of this real quick, where it says you were on the public versus, right? So you have the public records versus the MLS. You don't have a preference? You don't stick to one?
Mm-mm.
They're both good?
Yeah, a lot of them are going to be, a lot of times you'll find them ending up in both as well.
That's right.
But right here, MLS doesn't have anything, but it doesn't matter. I always stay on public record though.
Public record, just so everyone understands, is there are transactions that are bought and sold not on the MLS, right? Mm-hmm. So MLS, as it says, is pulling from whatever MLS that PropStream can gather in the area. If an investor bought a home cash that never touched the MLS, you're not going to see that recorded on the MLS comps, right? But you will see it on the public record comps. Just so everyone's clear on the difference of the 2.
Yep. And a lot of these public record comps are MLS sold with agent. They were listed and everything. PropStreams, they do have, it's my favorite tool by far, but there's a few things that they're missing. So also, if you guys ever see a bunch of solds, just go check on one other site to make sure on one of these properties it matches up, because you're going to find discrepancies if you guys start doing volume and the data, right? So I've flipped multiple houses myself, and I get on PropStream and then the numbers are always off. So just keep that in mind. All right. So going back, here's one, right? This is something I want to keep in mind. Like I told you guys, check the outside of the house. This is a much, much, much different looking house. So it's one of the neighbors. The only thing is, in my opinion, right, it's not always going to be off of numbers. some of these places you don't have enough comps that are similar to do your, price per square foot, sold price divided by square footage, and then multiply it by the square feet of your house, right? So this house is a good example. It's a little bit bigger. It's 5 years older, right? It's probably like a custom neighborhood where people were having their houses built and it wasn't cookie cutter, I would imagine. And I'll go through, right? Similar like the other one as far as cabinets and countertops. Looks like some type of vinyl flooring. You got wood floors, outdated walls, everything outdated. So I would say this is similar to our house, but I don't think this house is going to have the vaulted ceilings. The kitchen isn't nearly as big. So although our house is smaller, to me, you have some things that are better in the property that we want to buy, right? So this happens all the time. And we do get deals when it doesn't make sense, because this is a 2,400 square foot house that sold for 240 something. And really, for us to make this deal work, we need an ARV of at least around 260. So I think that we have the better product for a flipper to come into. This is a bigger house that needs more updates. That's more money, right? So we can keep that in mind. And just for the record, this is one I did not do price per square foot. I did it, just my general view on the area, the houses, what we could do with it. So that was number one. Here's number two.
Do you go down 1, 2, 3, 4, or do you go more like that neighborhood, like you said?
Only
you
the
only
neighborhood.
Choose ones in the neighborhood.
Yeah, if it was 1, 2, and 10 in that neighborhood, I would only hit 1, 2, and 10.
That's right.
Yeah. So here's another one, a little bit smaller than ours, 1994. So again, we're 2005, right? These houses they're not being built that same year or 2 years. So this one is actually a lot nicer. Again, I skimmed through photos on everything. We got stone countertops. It's probably original cabinets, tile floors. It's been painted, stainless appliances, carpet, and paint, right? These houses aren't crazy. Like, you can tell that's original. So for somebody to come in here, what I'm looking at on the house that we're going to be working together on, Justin, is cabinets are good. Flooring is good. We need to paint the house, probably change some fixtures and change the countertops and put some stainless appliances. That's about the extent of what we need to do, and clean the rest of the house. So that's what I'm gathering from this area. And then the last one is going to be 3. Yep, 3. So we have that last one sold for 262. And this one sold for 265, right? This is the most comparable to our house, right? Single story. It is 10 years older, but it's around the same square footage, same similar look, right? And somebody has updated, right? So
you're looking at this as the best comp.
This is the best
right?
comp for sure, yeah.
And so you're thinking, all right, someone's going to come in here and rehab our home and do new cabinets and reface the cabinets and maybe new counters, do some stuff to the bathroom like this. You're thinking exit price 265-ish.
Yep, that's where I would be, 265. So you got one at 262, not the best house. You got one at 265, and then you got one that's needs the most amount of work at 240 something. So
that's right.
For me, I'm going 265.
And I have it at 180, right? So the contract's at 180. And then I handed it to you because obviously you guys with the team want to sell now is the best, right?
Yep.
And I'm not giving your cell phone out. Don't worry. People got to come through me. But yeah, okay, cool. So keep going here. And then what I would probably say is maybe choose one. Let's finish this property, but I'm going to consider this one rural, right? Like I'm going to consider this not in a metro area like Phoenix or Miami. I don't know if you have one ready to look at that is a little bit more
let me see.
Whatever you have, whatever one maybe you want to show next. What else would you do with this property? Just so people know how to.
With this Tennessee one? The first thing I always do is this. This goes for every property. Right. a lot of people don't really pay attention to where they're locking up deals these days, and it makes it difficult when you're trying to dispo it. So I want to know, where's Cookville, right? All we really have is this. Yeah, I know this is 30,000 people. So you take this into consideration, you can type in, Cookville, Tennessee metropolitan area, and it will give you like this. So 50,000 people is enough. That's the first thing I always do. So a lot of times, I mean, even from my team, sometimes they forget to look at the map. I'll look at it, pull it up. All right, it's dead. Let the seller know.
Yeah.
So make sure you guys check on the map, because like this, it's not happening. This, I mean, it says nameless, it's not happening. So go to wherever there's at least, I would say at least 30,000 people is
Are you seeing that
good
number
start.
somewhere, or do you just happen to know it?
No. So once I already looked at it. Right. I may have spent, no, that's right.
Yeah.
Right, 33,000.
Yeah.
And that's not Algood, Woodland, Estates, Baxter, Bloomington. It's not including
It's
any of
literally
that.
Cookville. Right. So
Yeah.
you're saying 15,000 people or more.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
you want to be in 30,000 people really, unless there's a neighboring city, right? So if I had 15 here, 15 here, 15 here, you add it all up, you really have an area of 50,000, 60,000.
Yep.
So, yeah, and that's this one. So the good thing about this property that Justin sent over is it's a nice house in a nice neighborhood. There's a lot of buyers out right now that are willing to pay cash and just get some easy equity. So it's not the normal 70% minus 20K repairs minus your wholesale fee. It's just an easy flip. So we're going to get buyers that will bid up a little bit more for that house for sure. So I don't have anything in a metropolitan area like you're saying, Justin.
Well, let's just finish this out. So you're saying ARV is 265. So now if I already did the work. So again, kind of rewind. When I already did the work, I saw 265 at Senator Brandon. But if I didn't contract it yet, now how are you looking to contract that? Or like, what is your team looking to do in a space like this, right? You have the ARV at 265, you pegged it there using PropStream. Now what?
Yeah, so if on PropStream, we'll go back, right? If we have cash comps, we'll use them. We don't in this case, not in that specific neighborhood. I would check 4 just to see what 4 is. So if you guys see green cash, right? We do it 2 ways. We do the ARV, and then we will do a percentage and back out of it. We'll also see what people are buying cash. It's 2011 build. It looks way different. I wouldn't keep going with this one.
Right.
So sometimes we'll just try to purchase under the cash contract price or purchase price that people are paying for in the area, and then we'll sell them at what they're going for cash. We know that's what people will buy at. In this case,
just to clarify, they're taking that cash. Like if there's 5 green dots around there, then they would look at all the green dots and try to contract it under those green dots, hopefully under the lowest, right? And then try to resell at the green dot price. That's how they're looking at that.
Exactly. Yep. And this next one, I'll probably have an example of that as well.
Let's do it. Jump into the next one.
So yeah, on this one, we would do the 75%, right? We work with a lot of people in the area that have buyers. So a lot of people we do business with are local agents. You can tell a local agent you'll pay them $2, $3, $4, $5 to bring you a buyer, even a buyer that's going to live in the house, but they have to pay cash.
That's right.
So that's how we move houses like this.
And just since you mentioned it, how do you go find those agents?
Zillow. Just get on Zillow, right? Yeah. You can get on Zillow and see all the agents that have sold houses in that area and start dialing. They have their numbers on Zillow.
Amen. Dude, it's so simple. I thank you for taking some time, bro, because I think people overcomplicate it, or they listen to me and they're like, yeah, but you're Justin and you've done it for 13 years. Whatever, bro. Like, this really is simple.
It really is. Yeah, a lot of people overthink it. I mean, you have all the houses
this tool
in that
makes it really easy, right? Like,
oh yeah,
this tool did not exist 2 years ago, right? Now it does, and it makes our lives super easy, especially for those that don't have MLS.
Yeah, and we've had a property, right? It was worth about 85,000. I think it was Montgomery, Alabama. We got it for 60,000 or 60 something thousand. Now, if you do the percentage of ARV, like we were way off, and it needs work. It was not a flip. There's not going to be any equity after our fee, and it sold. It was a small one, but we made like $7,000 on it, and PropStream was the tool that told us that people were buying for cash in that neighborhood at a high price. So for us, we said, let's take a shot at it and see if we get it. And sure enough, we did. So that was, if we didn't have PropStream, we wouldn't have done that deal.
Amen to that, bro.
All right. So I'll end up making some additional videos for you as well. But this is a property that we got. This is one that I don't see this as like science. I see comping now as more like an art when you're doing nationwide. And I actually heard somebody say that this past weekend at an event, that running comps is an art. It's a lot of judgment calls. It's a lot of like what you think, because nowadays people are buying off of all kinds of things, not just numbers. So, right, we do properties nationwide. So just to show you guys where this is, I don't know where it is until right now. You forgot, right? So check that out. So we just got a price over asking right now offer. I think we're making 15 or 20K on this one.
Nice.
So this is where this is, right? So I just pulled it up. Now I know where it's at. The first thing I'm thinking is, where the hell is this? This is not by anything. All right, Klamath Falls. You can see they don't have the population. Right, 21,000, and then you got to know that there's these other little cities, so it's probably a little bit more than that. But the thing is, in Oregon, in places like this, when you're secluded like this, you have nowhere else to go. So the people here in this area are staying, right? So they don't have a town to go an hour away, 45 minutes away, another hour this way. There's no other place for them to live besides here, or maybe somewhere way on the other side of the state in Oregon. So this is your option, one of your options in Oregon, right? So now we're looking 22,000, and then PropStream, right? I know nothing else besides where it's at this point. I'm going in, like I told you guys, I go back, right? I already have a few comps. I still go back. I've had pushback from buyers a handful of times. So if I get pushback, I get pushback. If you're in a major hot metropolitan, Miami, Phoenix, Las Vegas, Austin, Dallas, Houston, don't do this. They'll get
go back 6 months. You don't need the year and a half, maybe a year, but you don't need to, right? What I liked already about this, you already had all these green dots. Remember, we just talked about these green dots. Like, this is a great example of like, dude, you go and just contract this home under these green dots. You don't have to think about it, because you know people are buying cash and they're buying 65 grand, 75 grand. 10 grand, 125, 30, right? Like, you have to do a little more digging, but for the most part, you know where you need to be.
Exactly. So in the first thing I'm going to do, right, you guys saw more. I'm going to look at some of these other properties, but I always go to the closest one, right? So for me, it's going to be one. They bought at 65. Now, I'm not going to do it right now, but what I would normally do is copy this address, take it to realtor.com. It's one of the few sites that holds the photos the longest from past listings. So I want to know what does 65 grand look like? And then I want to know what does $74,000 look like? And when we get photos back on our property and it looks like those, then I know somebody will buy our property for that price.
That's right.
So, right, here's one for 10, but it's vacant land. So we won't use that one. Cash, 125, 30. Right, here's one of the few comps with photos. It's number 14. I want to know where it's at. It's right here. If it was here, I'm not doing it, right? Do not cross major highways.
That's right.
So here's this property. Again, I usually have it up just to see. All right. Yeah. So we're 21978. I know that's correct. This is a 1100. Right? Let's take a look at this, guys. It's not nice at all. No. Right? This is nothing special. It has had no updates. Somebody paid 55 grand for this, and we got it for 23. So,
dude,
where do you guys see 23 anywhere, right? Or even 30? It doesn't happen here. The reason being is our acquisition guy, he actually dug into the area because he was concerned that it was maybe a little rural. Apparently, there's a shortage of properties. There's only 1% of properties that go vacant. That's in crazy. This area. So we have something that is in demand right now.
Yes. Economics 101, right? Supply and demand, baby. That's all it is.
And so right now we could probably bid that up. We haven't even got anybody to the house, and we're getting people above ask. So good property, right? So this to me is a no-brainer, guys. You see this, you see all the cash. You got 80,000, 70,000, right? Here's a 3.2, 1,100. I guarantee you it's not updated. Let's see what an updated house, hopefully updated, looks like. This one sold, what was it? 120 grand, right? It's a 2-1. We're a 2-1. We're 900 and something square feet. This is probably one of the nicer houses in the area. I did see this one before when I was doing the underwriting, right? You can see it is nothing special.
But one of the nicer homes.
But one of the nicer homes, and it's sold for $120,000, and it's 100 square feet bigger, and it's still a 1940 build.
That's right.
Look at the kitchen.
Right.
Right. So you guys get deals like this. This is, take a look into it. You have all the signs. All the cash sales are way high. We got it for 23. Like, I think we pushed it out for 50 or something like that. Still a steal, and that's probably why this guy is trying to lock it up right now.
That's right.
So that's it. Yeah, we already went over this one, guys. So again, you could go into some other. So we don't just look at cash. We look at ARV. We want to know what they're buying bottom line, but what they're selling for fixed up. You win on both sides. You get a buyer every time.
That's right. And so look at ARV. So is that what you kind of benchmarked? That 125 was your ARV?
So I didn't even, on this one, I didn't do ARV. Because,
you just went with the straight cash comp.
Yeah, it was, we had such a large gap that I didn't need to figure out what the house is worth.
That's right.
So normally I will, if it's a lot closer. If we got it for 23 and all the cash sales are going for 25, 30, 32, 35, I need to know what it's going to sell for on the retail end as well, because we're still going to get hit with that by buyers. So, all right, Formica countertops, original cabinets. So this one I thought was going to be a lot nicer because they painted the outside, and it's not. So on this one, I would say our ARV, I think I probably had it in here at, I have it in there as 135. If it's all, like, I'm talking, 25K remodel for this house.
Then you got a 23 grand?
Yeah, if you put in 25K, you probably can sell it for like 135, 125.
Think about that. Holy shit. You contracted it at 23 grand.
Yeah.
And you put in 25K, you're into this bad boy for 50 grand, and you can resell for $125 or higher.
Yeah, like if we get one or two more offers here today or tomorrow on this property above ask, we're probably going to buy it, take it down, and just throw it up on the MLS.
That's right.
All right. So
love it.
Our buyers there are letting us know if this is a safe bet for us.
That's right. 100%. I love that.